Have you ever felt your heart pounding, palms sweating, and mind going blank when asked to speak in front of a group of people? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Picture, if you will, a timid college student, one so shy and introverted that the thought of raising a hand in class was enough to trigger a wave of anxiety. That was me. I remember a particular instance where I mustered up the courage to ask a question only to be met with a dismissive response. "Your question sucks." The humiliation was palpable. It was as if a spotlight was trained on me, highlighting my inadequacies for the whole world to see. This experience, as scarring as it was, followed me into the working world. Picture a wallflower in a bustling bank. That was me. I was the silent observer, too afraid to initiate conversations with my colleagues, too afraid to voice my thoughts in team meetings. Even though I had great ideas, I found myself retreating into my shell, afraid that my contributions would be belittled or dismissed, just like in college. The fear of public speaking, or glossophobia, as it's formally known, is not a rare phenomenon. It's a fear that grips many of us, turning even the most mundane interactions into a daunting task. It was as if there was an invisible barrier between me and the rest of the world, a barrier that made every interaction feel like a climb up Mount Everest. And so I felt like there was something seriously wrong with me because I get so anxious and afraid when I speak in front of a group, even if it's just a group of 3 people or 2. But then, one day, a friend suggested I join Toastmasters, a public speaking organization designed to help people overcome their fear of speaking. With a mix of curiosity and fear, I decided to embark on this journey, not knowing what to expect. Entering the Toastmasters Club for the first time was like stepping into a whole new world. A world where speaking was not just a necessity, but an art, a craft to be honed and cherished. I was surrounded by individuals who, like me, were on a quest to conquer their fear of public speaking. And that gave me a strange sense of comfort. The day finally came when I was to deliver my first speech in front of 20 people. My heart felt like a wild horse galloping in my chest. My knees were shaking like leaves in a storm. My mind, once filled with well-rehearsed words, suddenly went blank. And there, just on the brink of my eyelid, I could feel a stubborn tear threatening to spill. I was terrified, but the last thing I wanted was for anyone to see me cry. So I did what seemed like the only logical thing at the moment. I hid behind the lectern, using it as a shield from the sea of faces eagerly waiting for me to begin. But behind that lectern, something incredible happened. I realized that I was not alone in my fear. That every person in that room had once been where I was, hiding behind their own figurative lecterns. And it was that realization that gave me the courage to peek from behind my safe haven and face the audience. But despite the fear, I was determined. I knew I had to face this fear head on if I ever wanted to overcome it. And so, with a deep breath and a shaky voice, I began my journey to overcoming the fear of public speaking. As I continued to practice and expose myself to public speaking, I started to feel a shift. The nervousness and fear that once consumed me began to subside, slowly replaced by a newfound sense of confidence and excitement. I began to see public speaking not as a terrifying ordeal, but as an opportunity, an avenue for self-expression and connection. With each speech I delivered, I felt myself growing, transforming from a shy, introverted individual to a confident speaker who could command the attention of a room. The fear that once stifled me was now fueling me, pushing me to step out of my comfort zone and engage with my audience in ways I never thought possible. I started to enjoy the process, the thrill of standing in front of an audience, sharing my thoughts, my ideas, my stories. And the more I did it, the more I realized the power it held. The power to inspire, to motivate, to influence, to make a difference in someone else's life. And the most beautiful part of this transformation was that it wasn't just about me. It was about the people I was speaking to, the connections I was building, the lives I was touching. It was about using my voice to spark change, to ignite a conversation, to bring about a shift in perspective. Public speaking, I discovered, doesn't have to be scary. In fact, it can be fun, and such a powerful way to inspire people and change lives. I remember in July 2022, I delivered my signature keynote in front of 8,000 people. It felt like having an amazing conversation with thousands of people, one person at a time. In that moment, I realized the true power of public speaking. It wasn't about addressing a faceless crowd or delivering a rehearsed speech. It was about connecting with each person, making them feel seen and heard, and inspiring them with my words. It was about having a conversation, not with thousands, but with one person, repeated thousands of times. It was about sharing ideas and stories and experiences that could spark change in their lives. It was about the magic of seeing their faces light up with understanding, their nods of agreement, their laughter at my jokes. It was about the power of words to move, to inspire, to change. So remember, the fear of public speaking is just a fear, and like all fears, it can be overcome. So why not start your journey today and see where it takes you? So I have a challenge for you. Yes, you, the one who's listening to me right now. I want you to take a step, just one step, towards overcoming your fear of public speaking. You might be thinking, that's easier said than done. True, but remember, every journey begins with a single step. Maybe you can start by joining a public speaking club, just like I did. You'll find a supportive environment where you can practice and improve. If that seems too much for now, how about speaking up in a small group? Perhaps share an idea at your next team meeting or suggest a new book to your book club. These may seem like small steps, but trust me, they will lead to big changes. You'll gradually gain confidence and find your voice. And here's the beautiful part. As you share your thoughts and ideas, you'll realize that your voice matters. You have something valuable to contribute. The world needs to hear your voice. So go out there and start speaking, because who knows, you might just inspire someone, change a life, or even change the world.